Hello Flosstube, this is Kate from Kate's Crafting Corner. It is March 5th and I am here with another update. It's been about 2 months. I know a lot of things have changed in that time. As you can see, a new background. We've done the most of the setup of my craft room. I'm gonna do a craft room tour soon, but no. I'm gonna do a craft room tour soon, but we bought a quilting table that still needs to be set up, and then we need to bring one more storage unit, like storage for my room, from our storage unit. And once I do that, there's a few more boxes that I can unbox. Stop it, I said. I'm sorry, Gracie is here trying to get a treat that I have up there, and she wants it. So before that, I'm going to do, I'm going to update you guys on Gracie and then share something else with you guys. So come here, baby. Come here, Grace. Okay, here's Gracie. She is now 8.5 months old. She is doing so good. She's kind of transitioned into her moody emo teenager type year time. I find her a lot of times on my husband's heating pad, just like laying there as if the world is so depressing. And it's really funny, but she's so sweet. She just follows you all around. And yeah, that's my sweet Gracie girl. And Gracie is such an extrovert that we got another member of our family. This is Georgie. He's about 2.5 months old. And they are best friends, except for when they're worst enemies. Gracie, say hello. And see, here's Georgie. So Georgie was it was a bit hard with him because, we bought him also off of Craigslist, and they told us he was 8 weeks old, and it turns out he was only 5 weeks old, and which is illegal in the state of California. And additionally, he had parvo. So we had him for about a week. Then we had to put him in the puppy hospital. Gracie smells the treat I'm sitting on that she is waiting for. They both do. And so we were really lucky. He only had to be in the pet hospital for 2 days. He and one other were the only ones in their litter that lived. And it turns out this is some kind of like puppy mill type situation. Unfortunately, we filed a report with the police, and they know of about 30 other cases. And so we were lucky that he was a little fighter, and he survived, and he's just the sweetest little dude. He and Gracie get along so well. So we've had him since the end of January. So they have, we kept them apart at first while we were gone in the day, but now they stay together and they just get along so well. So this is Georgie and Gracie, and you can see their size difference. But yeah. Okay, I'll give you your treats now. And Gracie, and here's your treat. Yeah, take it. Georgie, here's your treat, buddy. There you go. No, Gracie. Gracie! That's not yours, baby. This is your brother's. That's yours. Okay. So now they should be good to go for a while. So, that was the major update, setting up my craft room, because there was a lot of boxes in here for quite some time, so I just wasn't able to film. And then my sister came up last weekend, and then the final big news life update for me is that I haven't officially done this yet, but I am intending on handing in my 2-week notice at work probably tomorrow. It's just become a really unhappy place to work. I started to have a few panic attacks before going to work in the mornings, and I'm just really unhappy. I spent all of Tuesday crying at my desk, like silently crying as I worked, and it's just become honestly a really negative place to work. It was never supposed to be a place I was supposed to be at for a long time. Um, and I've been there for 8 years. There's no upward mobility. It's a dead end job, and not that I'm really a career person, but it just it paid my bills, and that is it paid enough to pay my bills, to pay my rent, but never enough that I could ever stop working long enough to find another job or anything like that. I would just come home too tired to apply for other jobs or anything. So, I've been married since June, and most of my stuff is still in storage. I never have the energy to unpack or set up the house. This room is the most set up room in the house. And so, after Tuesday, and I was just like I'm constantly on the verge of some kind of meltdown, and it's just become really stressful. And so I talked to my husband, and I said that I didn't think that I could keep working there anymore. And we both decided that it would be good for me to hand in my 2 weeks notice and just find something else that would make me happier. So I am lucky that we can afford this time while I'm looking for my next thing in life, something hopefully that I'm passionate about, because I'm no longer at the point where it has to be a certain amount of money so that I can pay my rent. We're able to function comfortably on less. So I can go back to something that's entry level pay and not worry about if my rent is going to be paid that month, So I am really looking seriously towards becoming a librarian. I'm passionate about reading. I love books. I'm lucky that I live in a big area with a lot of libraries and a lot of like smaller cities around. So in Sacramento County, to become a shelfer, you go around to the libraries and you ask if they have positions available. So that's one of the things I'm going to intend on doing pretty soon after I finish working, is going around seeing if there's any shelfer positions available. And from there, I'd like to get my master's in library sciences. I think it's like library and information sciences or something like that. And eventually become a librarian. I don't know yet whether I'd like to become like a school librarian or a university librarian or like a public library librarian. I don't actually know that I have any opinion either way, but I'm going to talk to Katrina from the Crafty Cataloger. I believe that's the name of your channel. I'm so sorry, Katrina. I'm going to link you down below. So if you're not following her, you should. She's amazing. I love her so much. But I'm going to be picking her brain, if she lets me, about being a librarian. And the other thing that I've considered is just going to like the Hobby Lobbies, Joann's, Michael's, places like that, and applying for a job there. And I've toyed with the idea of possibly opening an LNS. It's so hard because we don't have one in Sacramento. I think our nearest one's like 45 minutes away or so, which I know for a lot of people isn't so far away, but I never make that drive. And I just know that it's really risky to open a business. Most businesses don't actually succeed, and so it's really risky. I want to do it. Like, I can picture it in my head, but it's really risky. And so I'm probably going to go the librarian route. Or the other thing I've considered is possibly trying to find a job as a dispatcher. I was a dispatcher with my campus safety during college. I did that for 2 years. The previous 2 years I worked as a receptionist in the campus safety office. And I did really enjoy being a dispatcher. And I know it's not near as high stress as what it would be like with an actual police department or sheriff's department or whatever, because it was just a campus thing. Our campus security was private. It wasn't part of like the citywide police department, but that's another thing I've considered before. But I just already feel freer knowing that I don't need to be there anymore, and I can pursue something that will make me happier. So those are my big life updates. And now we'll get on to the crafty things. So it's been 2 months, and I've had a lot of stitching slumps in that time. And to be honest, I'm not even sure if I have everything that I stitched on or knitted or crocheted or whatever. But I've gathered what I could here, and I will be showing you guys what's been up. Oh, also, I think since the last video, I believe I mentioned, but I'm not positive, that for Christmas, my husband got me a Monstrix stand and then the quantum frames. And those came in the mail, which I'm so excited about. So, I have those downstairs, and I have my Mark II up here in the craft room. And I am loving it. The one issue I have is that this Monstrix stand, they didn't have an accessory holder, like it didn't come with one, and I didn't notice them selling one on the website, and so I'm really struggling to find a way to hold my iPad. And so if anyone uses the Monstrix stand, if you could recommend, like, what do you guys do to use your iPad, that would be great. Right now, it's kind of, like, off to the side, and I really hate it, because I'm used to, like, looking ahead or just a little bit to the side, and right now it's, like, all the way over here, so I'd have to go from here to looking back here, and it's not how I can comfortably stitch. So, any recommendations for, like, an iPad holder or whatever would be awesome, and I'd really appreciate that. So, thanks in advance. So let me show the two that are actually on bars right now. I worked the tiniest bit on London Gardens from Chatelaine. This is for my sister. So here we are. Here's the whole thing, and I just worked on this garden over here. So I didn't do much. It was for one of the stitching challenges. But yeah, so this was the first thing I worked on this frame, and I wanted to do that for her. The next thing is actually my newest start and the thing I've been working on most recently, but I didn't want to take it off, so I started Persephone from Mirabilia, and I have this lovely fabric of the month from Fiberlicious, and when my sister was up here last weekend, I had three fabric options I showed her, and this is the one we decided would look the best with it, and we thought it would be real pretty. It's not showing up super true, well, maybe a bit, but yes, so I have about 350 stitches into the beginning of this border area. And I'm trying to do the back stitch as I go, because I don't want to have to do all that at the end. So that is Persephone, and I am really happy with her. I'm just pulling the fabric a bit here because it doesn't always stay at the top, because next time I put this on, after I take it off, I'm hoping to have done enough of the top that I can put this a little further down. But right now it just has to be on the edge, which means it's not. I might need to redo that before I stitch tonight. Yeah, I am, because it just twisted out. Okay, well that's annoying, but whatever. So that's Persephone. Then I have been working on my Celtic winter conversion. That's what it will look like. And I got a good bit of progress on her. I have this needle minder from Game of Thrones. The wolf pack survives. Anyways, so for the longest time, all I've had done is this dark blue over here. So I added more and stitched out on the dress a bit. So I am happy with this progress, because this is one I have not progressed on much, and I would like to work on each of my Celtic ladies during this season. And so I have worked on her now during winter. So when spring comes soon, it will not be a problem to start working on Celtic spring, and then hopefully continue that. Have it on the stand for maybe like a week for each of them during their season, and just make a little bit of progress. That goes with my sisters. I have been working on Lantern Lane from Little House Needleworks. This one was drawn in February for WIPGO. I'm supposed to finish it. I clearly have not finished it yet, but I have made some decent progress. So I stitched the snow all the way across to here, and then I've been working on this gate. So, so yeah, I'm pretty happy with how this is turning out so far. Once I get the table set up, the quilter's table, then I'll be able to have everything like in front of me when I film these, so that'll be so nice, so I won't have to bend down and get things. I started Christmas at Hawk Run Hollow. I don't know if I mentioned this on this channel or not, but as rewards for finishing WIPGO squares, that's when I'm buying the silks for it. So I bought this and just the 2 skeins of black that are needed. Oops, sorry, I shouldn't have showed any of that pattern. That was a complete accident. Oh, shoot. Oh, no, it's right here. Thought I forgot it in the other room. I was working on it during my lunch break, so it's on the Q-snap. But I've just been working on the borders right now. This is my first time working on 40 count linen, and it is difficult. So I finished 1 box, and I am now working on the 2nd box, and I figure that will keep me going for a while until I actually finish some WIPGO squares and can get some other colors. But yeah, so I might be doing this one extreme cross country as I earn my my silks for it, but that's all right. Here we go. I worked a little bit on Let's Go on an Adventure from Frosted Pumpkin. And here is where we're at. So I worked on that orange stripe under the blue. It's hard to see, but I went all the way across. That was for a challenge. I don't know which one, but yeah. I guess I worked on Mordor. Visit Mordor. That's just a black and white of what it will look like. And I worked on some of the sky, and I've got this real nice Eye of Sauron's needle minder over here. So that's what that looks like right now. Next we have the border for the map Sal. So I worked all the way across the top for one leg, and now I'm working on continuing that leg all the way across. And this was actually drawn for WIPGO this month, and my goal is to finish the border. I don't think I'll be able to do it in the month, but I hope to make some progress. Will this fit onto this stand on this frame? This is my longest frame, so I'm hoping so. Yes, it will. Okay, awesome. So I'll put this on the frame for this month, and hopefully that will be able to help, because having all this fabric this is fabric I tea and coffee dye myself, so there's like some splotches, but I thought that like would suit a map look. So yeah. I'm excited to put some work into this, and it only uses black, so it should be some pretty easy, brainless kind of stitching for if I'm watching something really interesting. Next up we have Visit the Shire. That's what it will look like. That's just a black and white picture. Here is where I am at. The lighting's not so good. I need to figure out the lighting better for when I film these. But this is where I'm at. This one isn't as blocky as Visit Mordor, but it's still fun, and it'll look really nice when it's done. So I love that one. So Many Books, So Little Time, Max Color from Heaven and Earth Designs. That's what it will look like. And I don't have much done. That's where I'm at. I'm not caught up with the number of pages I've read, although I've been on a reading slump as well, so I don't have a lot of pages read this year. But I hope to be able to catch up. And the final cross-stitching one I have to show is the Epic Disney Princesses from Clouds Factory. And I started this one. This is a 28 count navy blue even weave. And so I have a good bit of the castle done. So I really like this one, and I need to work on it more. I haven't worked on it since like mid-January. But as I mentioned in the beginning of the video, I've just went through a spell with depression and my stitching slump, just reading slump, every kind of slump basically. And so I'm hoping once I get my head in a better space that I will put more time and effort into these. So if you're only here for the stitching, that is the end of it. If you're interested in... Here, Gracie. She finished her treat already. It used to take her hours to eat that, and now she finishes it in what? 15 minutes? So let me just check here the WIPGO. Okay, so WIPGO for this month. Oh, I didn't pull it out. Halloween Rules is the other one, and it was to finish it, so that's not going to happen in this month, but I'll work on it. And I do have a size of scrolls that I can fit that one on, so I'll just be able to switch between the two of them, hopefully. So Halloween Rules and the Map Sal were the two drawn for this month. For last month, it was those dogs that I'm cross-stitching for my aunt in South Africa. I didn't work at those at all, but I really need to work on those. And then the Lantern Lane. And then the previous month, it was So Many Books, So Little Time, and the Epic Disney Princesses. So those are the 6 that none of them have their goals met on, but I hope to actually really work on this this month or next month. Okay, now I'm going to show my yarn stuff. So if you're not interested, goodbye. It was nice to see you, and I will hope to really update again soon and with better lighting, hopefully. So this is gonna involve a lot of bending down. So let's see. This is like gonna be a mystery for me too, because I don't actually know what's in what I'm opening up. Okay. So this is the Hibernation Throw. It's for one of my Advent calendars. As you can see, I'm still on the 2nd day of Advent, so that went real well. But here is where we are at on that. And then on my scrappy quilt, memory quilt, oops, I dropped the needle. I'm working on the 3rd block. So I have finished 2. So this is, I have not sewn in any ends. So that's a bit of a mess. But I am working on my 2nd block over here. Sorry, 3rd block. So this is a long-term project with no end date in sight. Gracie? Gracie! No. That's naughty girl. This is your brother's baby. Here you go. She just stole his treat. You can't steal his treat, baby. Okay, yeah, so that just happened. Believe it or not, having 2 dogs is actually less stressful than having 1, because they play together so much, and she is just a high attention dog. She loves to play fetch, she loves to play tug of war, all those kind of things, and now she has someone else, a puppy, to do those things with, And so now I don't have to do all that with her as much. I mean, obviously I still do. But it's not as all the time neediness. And so that's been really nice and so much less stressful. I don't even stress about her potty accidents anymore because I'm already cleaning up his. And we set up this whole area in our bedroom where they stay during the day, and they've both been really good actually about going potty in the potty area on the potty pads. And so so there is actually less to clean up. And so it's been so much less stressful to have 2 dogs than 1. And they're so cute together. I'll wake up to find him with his head on her back, and they fell asleep like that. Like, they just go and cuddle next to each other. And when we were trying to keep them apart, she would be so anxious for me to let him out of the bathroom where he was. So even though she had free reign of the house at that point, she would be so anxious for me to let him out. And we could tell she hadn't left the upstairs area where he was staying into an upstairs bathroom. And so, it's just been so much better. She wouldn't even eat food during the day because that was downstairs in the kitchen, and she just wouldn't leave the upstairs area. And so when he was finally okayed for having parvo, and I mean, she's had all of her shots, so that was fine, but we left them for just like short periods of time to see how that went, and it always went really well. And so then we just we've been leaving them upstairs in our bedroom. And we're going to try to get the downstairs so they just have more area. I think he's... Gracie Marie! You can stop stealing his treat. This is yours, baby. Grace. Stop being a monster. She is a little bit of a bully sometimes, though. Yeah, she just steals his treats right out of his mouth. So, yeah, they get along really well, and it's just so much less stressful. Okay, here is my sock. Still that first one. But the heel has actually, like, come in. And we are now doing, we're decreasing here, getting back to the original stitch count. And so that's going pretty good. I don't think I need to make the foot as long as this size says. I had to go with the largest size because I have wide feet, but they're short. So they're like hobbit feet. They're short and wide. So I just love this yarn and love how it looks. It's not showing as nicely in this lighting. But these were the first ever pair of socks I started, and yeah, I'm loving how they look. Gracie, what are you doing, baby? Stay out of there. Why don't you go see? Okay. Next, we have a new start. So, my husband's eldest granddaughter was drawn for WIPGO last month, and I didn't even know what yarn I was going to pick out for her. So that was a little bit stressful, but I went through everything, and I had a list of her favorite colors that she told me. And one, she just said rainbow, which I guess is a color. So I found this in my stash, which is a rainbow yarn. And I started this blanket. Hers is actually probably the most complicated of all the patterns I'm doing for them. The grandson, his hasn't been drawn yet, but the youngest granddaughter and the oldest one have been drawn. But here is my start on that, and I am just actually loving how this looks. I think it will suit her. I may have to order another skein of this yarn, as I just don't think I have enough. But you know, we'll see further down the road. I'd really like to have this done for Christmas presents this year. So that's that one. And then, last month also got drawn my Christmas socks. And, I think he's going to go potty on my floor. I did not start those. This is the yarn that I will be using. I have them caked up in 2 separate balls. Because for this one, I wanted to challenge myself to learn how to do 2 at a time. So I was hoping this wouldn't have been drawn so soon, because in January, the Halloween socks were drawn. And so it was really kind of ironic, because in January, Halloween socks and youngest granddaughter's Afghan was drawn. And then the next month in February, Christmas socks and oldest granddaughter's Afghan were drawn. And it was like, could they get any more similar? And what was the chances of that? And it was just crazy. But I have been making some good progress on the Halloween socks. I stole the main needle for another project. Georgie, why don't you go to your bed, buddy? Mommy brought it in here for you. Don't eat it. No, no. Thank you. He was going to eat the yarn. So I finished the leg of this sock, and I love this chevron look. And on the back, it's just plain stripe. Oh, it's called the heel toe do-si-do. Anyway, so I've been working on the heel flap now. I don't have it very far along, but I am really happy with my progress on this. And then last weekend, while my sister Jo was up here, I had her pick a yarn from my stash, so I could make her a pair of socks, because it was just best to be able to check while she was here, just so something that she would like would get picked. So I don't have very much started at all, but this is the skein she chose. She chose it because this is a Game of Thrones based one, and it's supposed to be like Sansa's. And Sansa is her very favorite character. Mine too, to be honest. So, this is my very small start on a cuff. My sister also has wide feet, so we had to go with the Beaker cast on size, and I'm just hoping there's enough yarn. But, that is my small start. I even let her pick the pattern, so I don't have a printout of the pattern. I'll try to remember that for my next video. So, which brings me to Gracie. Here you go, baby. The last one. WIPGO for this month. This one, I'm not sure one of the ones is doable for this month, but the other one really is. I just need to get started on it. So, the first one that was drawn is my Grinda shawl, and this is actually a crochet project. And this is my yarn I'm using. It's a sparkly one. And here is my start. So I am on the second part. There's 5 parts, and I'm almost done with the second part. So I think that's looking really nice so far. And my goal was to finish this one. I'm not sure, again, that will be done. He just took himself to bed. So cute. I'm not sure if I'll be able to finish that this month. I'm hoping once I am done with my job and I just get to screw my head back on, that I will be able to relax a little bit with things like crochet and stuff. So the second one I drew was to make 10 washcloths. Now these that I'm going to show you are not ones from this month. I haven't started yet, but they're just to show you. And 10 I think is totally doable in a month. I can do a couple a night, or even if I push it 3 a night. But here is one that I knit. And I just learned how to do this January, maybe December. So here's one I knit. And then here is one that I did doing Tunisian crochet. And this is the kind that I usually give to my sisters and my mom, because it makes really good like scrubbing for dishes, or even exfoliating for your face, because this is very highly textured. It's a good exfoliant. But on this side, it's completely different texture. My sisters say that they really love them, and I know they use them. So I actually do need to give them more. And so doing 10 is really great. Oh my gosh, he's fallen asleep with his head like hanging off the side of the little bed. It's so cute. It's so cute. And she's laying there kind of asleep too. Let me see if I can show you guys. I ignore the mess. See, there they are. Hi, Gracie. Okay. Sorry, I hope that didn't make anyone like motion sick. Okay. So that's basically the end of my video though. Yeah, so those are my plans for the month, are to work on my WIPGO things, work more on Persephone because I'm really enjoying her, get myself to just be able to relax and not be so stressed. I would like to catch up completely on, not this month, but on my Stitchy Quest group quests, because I am like forever behind on that. And I'm also hoping that once I finish with my job, that will give me more time to be more creative and put more of my energy into that group, because I love the group and I just haven't had the energy to focus on it as much as I would like to. And so, yeah, I'm really hoping for some good big changes the rest of this month. And yeah, that's all I really have to say. I will see you guys another time. Oh, I'm hoping one of my sisters will help me like make card things for these videos, and that I'd like to start editing them, and so be able to put like cross stitch, knitting, crochet, or whatever, just like little cards like that in the videos, and then maybe learn how to put the before pictures and things like that, so that this is just a nicer quality video. And those are just things that like I'd really like to happen as I kind of take some time to refine myself and become happier. So that is all, and I will hopefully be back sooner than 2 months into the future. I'd like to do these every week. That was my original intention, but that has not worked out. So here's to hoping, and here's to hoping the craft room is fully set up so I can show you guys sometime in this next month. So bye and happy stitching.